Have you ever wondered what it would be like to spend summers in Sicily? Maybe experience the taste of Sicily? Well, if you have, you're in luck because we're here tonight at Andrea's La Bella in Ghent.
I'm Andrea DiCarlo, chef and owner of Andrea's La Bella in Ghent in Norfolk, Virginia. So we opened up in December of 2007. We'll be celebrating our 10-year anniversary here soon. I worked for my mother in Virginia Beach. She owned the restaurant for 21 years. I was a La Bella Italia on Laskin Road. I started out the dishwasher, moved up to prep, salads, pizzas, and eventually I was the executive chef. My mom, my sister, my brother, we all worked there, so a lot of heart went into the food. The customers come in, they'd always see one of us there, and we really connected with people through the food. The recipes from Sicily that my mother brought over, we were preparing all the time, and we cooked it like we were going to eat the food, and that's what people really liked. So I was born in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn. We had a bakery growing up. The mentality back then was you got to speak Italian. You're not Italian if you don't speak it. So they used to send me every summer to Sicily to spend my summers there with my aunt to learn. My aunt and my uncle, they owned business in a little town in Sicily called Misselmeri, and then they had a little house in the country which was about 15 minutes up in the mountain that they would spend their summers. So it was kind of a vacation home, but really what it was is them producing all the food that they were going to use in the winter. So they were growing tomatoes, we would steam them, peel them, jar them. They were harvesting olives to make oil, the grapes for the wine, the eggplant, the squashes, they were picking those and canning them, grilling them and canning them, freeze drying some, because over there it's not like you go to a big mega supermarket and get everything year round. Tomatoes in Sicily, you only get them in the summer, or you get them sun-dried or jarred, freshly jarred the rest of the time. So I would spend my summers with my Uncle Vincenzo just doing all that, and I was a kid and I didn't really understand what I was doing until I started to get older and really realized, wow, I'm not only do I love to cook, but I'm firsthand getting an education on how it was done 200 years ago. And me being born in 1978, that's unheard of. Like, people talk about farm to table now like it's a new thing, but really farm to table was the only way that it was done before, because that's the only way they knew how to do it. You grow it, you pick it, you barter with the cheese guy and the dairy guy and the pasta guy, you trade stuff, and that's how you made meals every day. So when everybody in the town would be sitting down at the same time, even though you're in separate houses, essentially it's almost like everybody's eating together, because Giacomino's got my uncle's peeled tomatoes, and Tonino's got my uncle's grilled eggplant, and we have Tonino's cheese and Giacomino's fresh pasta. La Bella in Italian means the beautiful, so in my mind it was perfect because I was trying to create the beautiful experience, the beautiful restaurant, the beautiful dish. So every time I approach doing anything, I keep La Bella in mind because I want it to be the most beautiful thing anyone's ever seen. You come in, we have an extensive wine list. We always change it, focused on Sicilian wines. And it really pairs well with my personality, to be honest, and the personality of the food. So when you come here, you're gonna get fresh fish, 3 or 4 different choices, a lot of fresh pastas to go along with it, along with your New York Italian classic dishes like your pollo parmigiano or your lasagna alla bolognese. When we shop, we try to get the prosciutto from Parma, Italy, the marsala from Marsala. The saffron that we use comes from Sicily, because for me it's a key ingredient, because it brings the personality of the island into the food. The detail is everything, anything that I buy or that comes through the door, it's not, drop the box, write the check, and the driver's on his way. We open everything up. I pick the heads of lettuce up. I feel to see if they're limp or if they're crispy, because I get an indication of how fresh it is and what it's going to look like 3 or 4 hours later on the plate, right down to my olive oil. I taste olive oils on a weekly basis like I taste wine. If I start with bad ingredients, no matter how great a chef I am, I'm not a magician. I can't make the food magically become good if I'm using terrible ingredients. We have an oven and we bake our bread here, we make our pizza, we bake some of our cakes, we do catering. Making the bread fresh every day is very important because it's the single one thing that the guests are gonna get no matter what. If the bread is terrible, they're gonna be like, wow, the thing that they put on the table the first time is terrible. They're gonna be like, what else are they doing that's not good? So those are the little things that kind of represent who we are and what we do here as far as satisfying the guests. So the linguine con le vongole, which is our linguine clam sauce, is probably our biggest seller. When we cook the clams in the sauce, we put them in there. The clam tells me when it's ready. I don't tell it when it's ready. So when that shell opens up, it releases all that juice, and I know exactly at that point that sauce is ready to be married with the pasta and put on the plate to give to the guest. The pollo portofino, it's a dish that actually we as a family kind of invented in the restaurant. So it's white chicken breast stuffed with prosciutto di Parma and our fresh mozzarella. So if you really look at it, it's kind of a take on the cordon bleu, but it's really our version. And we pound it shut, we saute it in a mushroom, white wine, marsala wine sauce blend. And it's nice because it's a hearty dish, and the flavors that are in the sauce create this really sort of aromatic dish. And when you eat it and you cut it, the juices from inside the pollo portofino go into the sauce and the pasta, and you kind of get this different experience with every bite that you take. Insalata frutti di mare, which is known to Sicilians as seafood salad, staple on every table in Bensonhurst and Sicily for Sunday dinner. So it's a fresh octopus. I use Spanish octopus because it's really good, with calamari, shrimp, and garlic, oil, lemon, and celery in it. And we cook it and we marinate it and we plate it, and to me, it's to die for. It's my favorite dish on the menu because I love octopus. The other staple that people absolutely love is the spaghetti alla carbonara. It's a Roman, Southern Italian Roman staple, a very simple dish to make, but it packs a lot of flavor. And it's really a simple sauce that's just made up of an egg yolk and all the ingredients. And then you take the pancetta, imported pancetta, you render that down in a pan, and when you cook the pasta, you put it in with pasta water, and it's all these like 3 or 4 different components. And when you throw it in, the odor and the ingredients almost start to kind of sing and marry together as everything coats the pasta. And when you put it on the plate, it looks beautiful, and the guests love it. It's probably our #1 selling pasta dish. So the desserts, my favorite is the cannoli. So I use my mother's recipe, that's her father's recipe, that's her great-grandfather's recipe. It's ricotta, sweetened with a little bit of sugar, some chocolate chips, and you mix it and you stuff it into a cannoli shell that we get imported from Italy because they do it good, and these ones that we use are really tasty. And it's simple, we top it with a little candied fruit, a little powdered sugar, we decorate the plate nice.
One of the best things about Labello is the fact that while it's located in the heart of Ghent, just a block off 21st Street here on 22nd, it makes for really easy access and also ample amounts of parking, so you literally can park and walk right in. But my favorite thing about Labello is the fact that for nights like this evening, it's got great outdoor patio seating. We have a main dining room that's got the bar in it, and then we have a separate dining room that's a private dining room. It's a pretty wide open space, beautiful colors with some really nice lighting that we use for, I've done my best friend's engagement parties in that side, my sister-in-law's graduation party, along with customers that proposed in the restaurant, had their rehearsal dinner in the restaurant, and then came back and had their party for the baptism of their kids in the same exact room. So that's kind of getting back to how we kind of build these relationships with not just the guests individually, but with the family and the generations to come. The thing I love most about Labella is the fact that I get to
feed people a little bit of my personality in every dish. And specifically here, like I could do it in other restaurants, but specifically here because I put so much literally blood, sweat, and tears into the whole process of building the restaurant and creating what I have here today. So when the people come in and eat, and the smile on their face when they bite into the chicken meatball or the veal marsala, and they just, you can almost see them like look up, and maybe it triggers a memory of their grandmother or that trip that they took, or just a meal that they had totally unrelated to Italian food that was a special moment. And that's what's most special to me about La Bella in Ghent. If I wanted to be a millionaire, I would have been a doctor. I would have been a lawyer. You know, with these looks, I would have been a movie star. But I chose to cook because it's literally what I love to do. Every day I come to work, it's my passion. So I don't even feel like I'm at work. I just feel like I'm doing what I love to do, and the customers are the beneficiary.
Yes, I've been coming here for quite a few years, and it's one of the few Italian, authentic Italian restaurants that I approve of. Being from New York and Boston, it's very hard to find Italian food in the South.
That's actually really true.
So this is a prime spot.
Eggplant, favorite, lasagna.
Today was spinach lasagna for me. Sometimes it's ravioli. We have my granddaughter from Texas comes and only gets ravioli, always. Not to mention, bread with oil and vinegar is a meal. And keep it coming. Love the flour on the crust. It's like, yes, you gotta have the. I'm gonna give you a little trick here. You gotta do it. Gotta break your bread and dunk and mangia.
I've never actually physically been to Sicily, but after my experience tonight here at Andrea's La Bella in Ghent, I think I've come pretty doggone close. Whether it is from the great house-made sangria, the appetizers, the entrees, and of course the homemade desserts, including cannolis with cannoli shells, really from Sicily. That's fanatical. Do yourself a favor. Come see what the buzz is about here in Ghent. It's a true experience. And if you've ever wondered how the Sicilians entertain, party, and eat and drink, well, you'll find out if you pay a visit here to Andrea DiCarlo and his people. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Pleasure's all mine. Pleasure's all mine.
Let me ask you this. When you're out kicking it, where's that at?
I'm kicking it in the 757.
You notice how he was very precise in that, just like all his dishes he makes. Do yourself a favor and pop in here to Andrea's La Bella in Ghent. You'll be glad that you did. And we're going to be real glad now because the crew and I are going to enjoy ourselves.
Some great food.
Cheers.
Salute.
What he said.